feeling in my bones, I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right and make up for what I've lost.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I feel like I haven't made a sit down video in a million years, but this video has literally come about because I was on my YouTube analytics the other day and I saw that all my college advice videos were getting views again, and I was like, oh my god, they're from 2016. It's now 2021. I'm going to give you an updated version of my back to college, back to university advice from someone who has lived and also commuted to college. So I have like a varied experience. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so before I'm going to get into my tips, I want to talk a bit about my background so you kind of figure out what degree I did, where I'm coming from. So I did a bachelor's, like an arts degree in Maynooth University, and I started that in 2015, which is a million years ago, I am aware, but I graduated in 2018. So my degree was English and history, and it was a major minor combo. So my major was English and my minor was history, obviously. And then when I finished my degree, I did a HDIP, which is a higher diploma in digital media design in Carlow IT. And for first year of college, I lived on campus in Maynooth, and then second and third year I commuted, and then for my HDIP I also commuted because Carlow is like 15 minutes away from my house. So yeah, there's my background. If you have any questions about any of those courses, please leave those down below. So obviously I am out of college a couple of years, seeing as my last HDIP or my last degree finished in 2019, but I feel like the last year especially I've really reflected on my college experience, just about how everyone couldn't go to college essentially for 2 years, and I just ended up being really grateful for the experience I had, and it also made me think about things I would do differently and things I'm happy I did in college. So that's basically the basis of these tips. So tip number one is I have like little notes here and I literally forgot what tip number one was. Tip number one is meet as many people as possible, in brackets safely, because of COVID. When I was in college, I would talk to everyone, especially in first year. You just have to put yourself out there. I remember I was coming down the stairs of my apartment, because I lived in Village, I think, in Maynooth, and I bumped into this girl that was coming out of her apartment, and we ended up like walking to John Hume together, and we just randomly started talking, and we found out that we were doing the exact same degree and we lived in the same building. And it was like, that was actually the first person I spoke to when I moved to Maynooth, when I was like properly living there, apart from my housemates. And I ended up being friends with her for the full 3 years. It's just like little things like that. Like, you need to make contact and like make an effort with everyone. And don't forget that everyone is in the exact same boat. So if you're sitting there in a lecture and it hasn't started yet, just being like, hi, how are you? My name's Rachel, what's your name? Oh, you're commuting, or you're living there? Or living here? Oh, very good. Yeah, no, I'm commuting, yeah. It's so annoying, haha. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're living here. Oh, class. On campus. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah. You know, it's just literally as simple as that. Just make small talk and meet as many people as possible, because you don't know who will end up being your best friend and who actually might be a potential boyfriend, girlfriend. Obviously that's not the goal here, but you just never know what could happen. Tip number two is very related to tip number one, and it's join clubs and societies. When I was in college, I would just join a load of things every clubs and societies day came around, and then I would never go to them because I was too anxious. I felt like I wouldn't be good enough, which is ridiculous, because college is the perfect time to like reinvent yourself and find new hobbies and new passions. So one thing which I really regret not doing in college was the dance society, or is that club? I always get confused. But anyway, the dance, I had signed up and then I just didn't go because I was afraid I was going to be bad. Even though I had danced for like 15 years, I was like, I'm not going to be good enough at this. And another society that I wish I had joined in college was drama. I love being the centre of attention. I would have thrived. But again, I was so fearful that I wouldn't be good enough at it that I never did it. And that was one thing that I decided during the pandemic was, once everything opens back up again, I'm joining a drama society. I don't care where. I just need to do it as a hobby, like not in like a mad like career change, but as like just something to do and have fun with. So if you're sitting here watching this video and you're like, oh, I'd really like to try rock climbing, or I'd really like to try archery or drama or whatever, just join it. The only thing that's going to happen, like the only bad thing that could happen is you regret not doing it. Like even if you join a club and society and then after the first week you're like, oh, this is shite, you don't have to go ever again. Like I took up fencing. I don't know why, but I went to like 2 fencing sessions and I hated it and I never went again, and that was it. But I'm glad I did it, because imagine if I'd been left wondering, maybe I would love fencing, but now I don't. Now I know for sure it's not for me. Tip number 3 is make a budget, because housing costs are crazy, living costs are crazy, most places don't pay the living wage, so you're going to have to make some sort of budget for when you go to college. But sorry, I heard my dad cough. Okay, so as I was saying before, I could hear someone coming up the stairs. What I used to do when I was in Maynooth was on Monday, I would go into Aldi and do my like little food shop, but I would just be kind of picking up fresh bits, because I would have like, you can buy like giant bags of pasta in Tesco, so I'd have like bulk versions of things so I wouldn't have to rebuy. So then when I would do my little food shop on a Monday, all I was really getting was fresh fruit and veg, meat for my dinners, fresh fruit and veg, bread, milk, just things like that. But you're going to have to make some sort of budget. Like even if you just put aside like 40 to 50 euro for food a week, it depends on how much you're going to eat. I don't even think I spent that much. I think my like weekly shop in Aldi always costs less than like 30 euro, and then I'd have like other money for treats and drink and whatever else. But what I used to do was like I put aside money for like food and then like activity money, and then I'd also have money that I would save so I can go on holidays. Because when you're in college, well, when I was in college, everyone was like planning on going interrailing, and then especially like skiing trips are huge now, surfing trips are huge if you're part of those clubs. So you just put little bits of money aside for like, in case you want to do something fun, because you like, that's the thing with college, fun things arise all the time. Tip number 4 is something I didn't listen to, so if you don't want to listen to this tip, just don't listen to me. Don't buy all the books. Like it's literally pointless. There's so many resources online for free books that you don't need to buy the books. But if you are doing something like English or history or psychology or whatever else, and you're really interested in the topic beyond college, buy the books. Because a lot of the stuff I bought were like actual literary books, like the classics and stuff. And I remember when I see them on reading list, people are like, just don't buy them. I'm like, no, because I would like to have this in my book collection. It's just like make informed decisions about the books you should buy, and most things can be found online for free anyway. And then when you register with the college and like get your little student card, you'll get like a JSTOR login and stuff, because it'll be associated with the college. So there's loads of reasons not to buy the books. Tip number 5 is something that I feel like people that have just finished the Leaving Cert aren't going to find that hard, but it's do the work as you go along. Because obviously when you go from secondary school into college, you don't really have teachers giving you homework. It's more so you get readings. And one of the biggest things that I didn't do in college, which I regret, is I never did practice essays. Well, I would like on the very odd, rare occasion. But if you can, when you get a reading, look up the exam questions, like past exam questions, and see how that reading may relate to those questions, and then try do essays. And if you want, you can even message your tutor or lecturer and be like, hi, I want to do a couple of practice essays, do you have a list of sample questions I could use, and just make out essays. Because if you just wait until like having to actually make that essay, it's just gonna be stressful. At least have like a basis. Now, even just explaining that, I'm like, that is so smart. Why didn't I do that? And my last tip on this little short list is make the most of it. And I feel like because we're coming out of 2 years in pandemic, in lockdowns, people are going to try and make the most out of it. But I just know when I was in second year of college, I completely wasted that year because it was my first year commuting. So I ended up feeling like a bit sorry for myself that I wasn't living on campus anymore, and I didn't do as many things as I wanted to or as I could have. And that's something that I really regret, because you only get college, well, you could go to college as many times as you want, but you only get college in your early 20s, late teens once. And I do really think you need to like make the most out of it. Go to those events, go to the clubs, not like nightclubs, but like join clubs, societies, and just make as many friends as possible, because college is one of the best times of your life. Like, it's very stressful, but it's also very fun, and you do grow as a person. You start to figure out who you are. Like, I'm 24 now, still haven't fully figured it out, but college gave me such a strong foundation on figuring out who I was, and some of my best friends were people that I met in college. So yeah, you just need to go for it and have the best first year and best final year if you're in final year ever. So obviously we finished the tip section of this video, but I want to talk about commuting because I feel like that's something that a lot of people are going to be forced to do this year that they haven't been forced to do before, or they wouldn't have normally had to do this, but now because of the rental and housing crisis, they have to commute. So like I already said, in first year of college I lived in Maynooth, and then in second year I commuted, and in third year I commuted, and then for my HDIP I also just got a lift to Carlow IT. It's very tiring, and I don't even want to kind of sugarcoat it and be like, oh my god, it's such a... No, it's not great. Like, I hated it. For the first year I did it, like, I just like sucked and I never did anything fun. I barely had any friends. Like, the friends I had in first year, I just stopped hanging out with them because I hated it so much, and I felt so separated to like the normal college life that I had the year before. And I feel like what makes commuting even harder is all the little communications on radio, TV, etc. that I've seen and heard about starting college, going into first year. It's always about like how living away from home is the main experience. Like, yeah, I do get that you do learn a lot about yourself, but I feel like just repeatedly saying that to people that are listening who may be students or even past students, it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth. So it's like, okay, so did I not have a college experience then? Because I spent 2 years not living away from home. Like, there's so many opportunities for you to live away from home that obviously, if I could have like a little magic wand, I would make it that every student has the option to live away if they want to, but it's just not feasible in Ireland. Like, the cost of living away is so expensive. Like, it's pretty much a second mortgage, especially if your parents are paying for it, and that's why so many people can't pay for it. So when I was in college, my parents paid for the first year, and then second year the rent went up and they were like, we can't afford this. I was like, I can't afford this with my part-time job, so I had to commute. And as sad and annoying and how left out you may feel, it's not the end of the world. And probably one of the hardest things about commuting, especially when it comes to like wintertime, you'll end up going to college in the dark and you'll come home in the dark just with how bus times are, especially if you're commuting from like Maynooth to Athy. Hopefully the buses have gotten better, but I really doubt it. Like, they'd only have one bus in the morning, one bus in the evening, and that was literally it. Like, you could get to Naas and then get like a connector bus, but that would just mean so much hassle. But yeah, you're just going to have to make the most out of it. You're going to have to try be as proactive as possible because no one else is going to make this college experience for you. You need to do it yourself. Sorry, I keep like waving around this orange. And one thing that I kept, you were constantly told this in college, it was like, make friends with people and then like couch surf. I don't know how many people, like, I just don't feel like that's a very Irish thing to do. Like, I feel like people I hate putting people out. Like, I would feel like if I asked to stay with someone like that, they'd just be like, the neck. Like, if someone asked me to stay with me, I'd be like, oh my god, of course. But I just feel like I'd be putting someone out and I just won't ask. But yeah. But yeah, people can disagree with me on that point. Maybe you had like the best 3 years of your life and you just slept on someone's couch. I couldn't do it. I prefer comfort. I just prefer my comforts way too much. If you are commuting, I'm very sorry, but it's not the end of the world, and you'll save money. Like, it's so much cheaper, and you just go on a mad holiday in summertime. And that is the end of my video. That orange isn't the greatest. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. We've come to the end of my little advice video. I hope this is a more up-to-date version of my older videos from like 2016. I might like link those down below just so you can see the difference in me even, because that would have been me going in the second year, whereas now I'm finished college 2019, 2020, like 2-3 years. So I do have a bit of like life experience now to back me in what I'm saying. And yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is join those clubs and societies. You won't regret it. The only thing you'll regret is not going to them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!